Hi everyone! Today I will tell you about a unique place in Germany, Heligoland, or in German Helgoland. And if you have never heard about it before, then I guarantee you that you will be impressed by today's story. Let's start! Don't forget to leave a feedback if you enjoy the video. It is very important for my motivation. Before we start our trip to Heligoland, let's have some theory to understand this archipelago better. Many of you know about the Schengen Zone Agreement, a special agreement between some of the European countries that allows to remove the border control between the members of the agreement. The European Union is another economic and political union between mostly European countries. I say mostly because geographically Cyprus is not part of Europe, but it is member of the EU. Many countries are members of the EU, but not Schengen Zone, and the other way around. Some are in the Schengen Zone but are not members of the EU. Maybe not all of you know that some European countries have areas located remotely from European land. For example, Portuguese Madeira and Azores, which are located far away in the Atlantic Ocean but still belong to Portugal. I have a video about Madeira on my channel. I really recommend watching it. Spanish Canary Islands are also located far away, close to Africa, but are also part of Spain and part of the European Union and Schengen Zone. However, that's not the case for many other remote territories that belong to European countries. Most of them have a special status, Overseas Countries and Territories, OCT. That's the case for some Dutch and French islands located in the Caribbean area or for Danish Greenland. Except OCT, there's also a list of territories that have a special status. For instance, Faroe Islands don't belong to the EU at all, even though they belong to Denmark. Melilla and Ceuta, two Spanish towns located in Africa, are part of the European Union, but they don't belong to the customs union. And now, back to Germany. Because you're already thinking, what does that all have to do with Germany? Why is he telling this to us? Germany doesn't have any overseas and remote territories. And you are right. But there is a village, Bösingen am Hochrhein, a German exclave entirely surrounded by Switzerland. Because of its geographical position, this area of Germany does not belong to the EU customs union. It's a part of Swiss customs union. So again, a village is still a part of the European Union and Germany, but it does not belong to the European Union customs area. The same situation is with the islands that we will talk about today. Heligoland is a small archipelago in the North Sea. The two islands have a population of a bit less than 1,500 people, and these islands are the only German islands not in the vicinity of the mainland. Heligoland is not a part of the EU customs union. Instead, it is a duty-free area like in many airports or on board of the ships. Due to its position, Helgoland was constantly in the center of the European wars. It was a fortress in the middle of the North Sea. The privilege of tax exemption goes back to Queen Victoria, who used it to thank Heligoland for allowing the British Empire to use the island as a smuggling site against Napoleon's continental blockade. When the island became part of the German Empire in 1890, the principle was retained. As for today, the island is neither a customs territory of the European Union nor a German tax territory. That's why tourists can have duty-free and VAT-free purchases. A lot of tourists arrive here to buy perfumes, expensive brand things like bags and jewelry. Duty-free shops are the main source of income for locals. How can you reach these remote islands? You can get to Heligoland by plane. Yes, this small archipelago has its own small airport. Another option is to use a ship. There are a few companies that are serving this destination. Personally, I used Helgoline. The ticket prices are not that cheap, but this ship is fast. It's a high-speed catamaran with the maximum speed of 66 km per hour. So you may do a one-day trip. There are 2 points where you can board the ship. One is Hamburg. From here the ship flows Elbe River and goes to the North Sea. Another stop is in Cuxhaven. which is a port city on the North Sea bank. So, let's start the trip! Sunny morning in Hamburg Hauptbahnhof. From here I take a regional train to Hamburg Harburg, where I switch the trains and take another regional train to Cuxhaven. Cuxhaven is a nice small port town. It reminds me of Denmark, at least compared to many other German cities that I visited. It's really a big pleasure to walk around the city. Cuxhaven port surprised me. Here you may book a lot of different ship tours. There is a day tour from Cuxhaven to Zut Island. Or there are a lot of tours to see harbor seals. Yes, I was also surprised that Germany has places with wild seals. There are also tours around Nordost-der-Kanal, in English Kiel Canal, and many other tours from different small and big companies and ships. While I was waiting for my ship to Heligoland, I walked on the viewpoint where you can see big ships arriving. And I was surprised to hear that there is an audio guide lady telling in German about each passing ship. She told where the ship is coming from, how old it is, what is it carrying and what is the final destination.
Wurde 2007 in Dienst gestellt. 2005 die Colombo Express fährt unter der Flagge von Liberia.
My Helgoline ship arrives. On board this ship, everything looks like on the plane. You need a bit less than 1.5 hours to reach Heligoland. And even though it doesn't seem that much, well, you know, an airplane is a bit different from a high-speed catamaran constantly jumping on the waves of the North Sea. So the best you can do on the ship is to sleep. There's also a menu and you can order something to eat for a reasonable price. By the way, if you feel seasick, eating some food may help you. That's a very good tip that I got from the MSC cruise crew. First, I didn't believe it, because eating is the last thing that you think could help. But I tried it, I confirm that's true. If you are hungry, you will feel worse. As soon as you arrive in Helgoland, you have a very strange feeling. On one hand, you are still in Germany. There's a Deutsche Post office, Edeka supermarket like in other towns in Germany. You still have German mobile carriers. On the other hand, everything looks different. The climate is different. You feel some kind of isolation as the islet is really small. 1 hour is enough to walk from one side of the island to the other. Using cars is officially prohibited on the island, and there are only a few electrical cars here. Helgoland is full of flags, and that's not a German flag, that's the flag of Helgoland. This flag reminds me of a Bulgarian flag. If someday you decide to visit Helgoland, I recommend you visit the small Helgoland museum. Here you may find out that the Deutschland Lied, the national anthem of Germany, was written right here, on this small island Heligoland. By the way, at that time the island belonged to Great Britain. Besides that, there's a collection of different minerals. There's an audio guide in English, so feel free to visit this nice museum to know a bit more about Helgoland. Not far from the museum, there is a walking trail. This is a perfect way to enjoy the island. Another interesting point to visit is the Helgoland bunker. Unfortunately, I didn't visit it because I had only a few hours in total to explore the island. But I am sure it's definitely worth visiting, as Nazi government invested a lot of resources to convert the complete island into a big underground fortress. It even had tunnels for submarines, a big bunker system and other military installations. That also defined the destiny of the island. It was a very important battle of the Second World War with a lot of heavy bombings. With 2 waves of bombing raids on 18th and 19th April 1945, in just 2 days, 1,000 Allied aircraft dropped about 7,000 bombs on Heligoland. This is a funnel of a 5,000 kilo bomb from the last days of the Second World War, but even that heavy bombing didn't destroy the existing underground infrastructure completely. After the end of the World War II, the island was controlled by Great Britain, and they wanted to destroy the remaining military infrastructure so the Germans could not reuse it under any circumstances. On 18th of April 1947, the Royal Navy simultaneously detonated 6,700 tons of explosives, successfully destroying the island's principal military installations. This operation was called Operation Big Bang or British Bang. The explosion was so heavy that the relief of the island has changed. Today the island consists of 3 parts: the lower land, Unterland, the upper land, Oberland, and the Mittelland, that was created as the result of the British Bank. It can be clearly seen as a big crater from the plane. This is Heligoland lighthouse, and that is the only building to survive the big blast. Everything else on the ground was built again after World War II from scratch. By the way, Great Britain didn't want to give this island back to Germany. This was a very important strategic point for the British military and way too dangerous to give back to Germans after the war. But two German students in 1950 started the peaceful protest to return this island back to Germany, and they gained the support of the West German parliament. In 1952, the island was returned to Germany. The island is connected to the mainland electricity network by a submarine cable. And this cable is one of the longest AC submarine power cables in the world. It is 53 kilometers long. Heligoland is an important place for bird migration. The amount of birds is amazing. The island is a perfect point for ornithological studies. Heligoland Bird Observatory is an important institution that keeps this mission. Even though Heligoland Islands are so small, it's a really unique place in Germany. Geographically, historically, economically, the island is a perfect place for allergy sufferers, as it's a very safe place for them. I recommend you visit this amazing island in person and explore it more than just duty-free shopping. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course share this video with your friends.